Hey there, I'm Buddha, and this is my iPhone vlog. So this is kind of something I've been doing for a while. Whenever I have like an idea, I think it's worth it to share with you guys. So this is kind of no editing, just filmed with the iPhone, just to get you a simple idea and usually short videos. So this morning I was talking to my good friend Rui Rodrigues. He's a drummer and he's starting to develop his recording skills. He wants to mic his kit and he was asking me a lot of stuff, and actually he told me it would be good to have some content on YouTube sharing like how microphones react, what's the importance of microphones, what microphones should someone get to record. So I thought of making this vlog really simple, but trying to explain you really basic stuff about microphones. If you're into recording, probably you already know what I'm saying, but I'm sure you will get some out of this too. So first of all, the difference between microphones is crucial. So think of microphones as ears. We all have different ears. We all have different sensitivity to different frequencies, and we all have different tastes. So think of microphones as different ears. That's basically it. Some microphones are more sensitive. Some are capture really low frequencies better. Some capture really mid-range frequencies. Some capture really high-end frequencies. What kind of microphones there are? First of all, the dynamics. This is a Shure SM57, a classic of classics, alongside with his brother, the SM58. In Woodstock, there were only SM58, so everything you hear recorded from Woodstock was recorded through SM58s. So yes, you can do a whole record with an SM57 or SM58s, no problem at all. You have this kind of mic, it's a dynamic microphone. We have the condenser microphone, and this is a small diaphragm condenser. This is an AKG. I think this is a CK91, so 391, because the body is the 300B and the capsule is the 91. So they usually are called CK391. It's a small diaphragm condenser, which is way more sensitive than a dynamic mic. Then we have a large diaphragm condenser. This is one of my favorites, the Shure KSM32 large diaphragm condenser, and I'll explain it in a minute. And this is a ribbon microphone, the Sontronics Sigma 2. So what's the difference from the whole spectrum of mics? Usually dynamic microphones are less sensitive, so they require way more sound coming in because they are kind of deaf. So they are great for really loud sources. Snare drums, drums in general, horns, guitar mic, so guitar cabinets, putting it in front of the speaker, really loud singers. This is a great mic for my vocal, for example, the Shure SM57. I use it all the time, usually with a windscreen, because it solves the problem of the pops. When I throw wind at it, it doesn't have like a huge blasting effect, but it also changes the characteristic of the mic. So this is kind of a no-brainer mic for everyone. You should at least have one, but it works in every source. Is it transparent? No. The SM57 is mid-rangey, has not a lot of bass in it, and it's kind of crispy sounding, direct, punchy sounding, okay? The SM58 is kind of the same thing with a little more bass due to the round ball, but I think they are kind of the same mic, although sold in different capsules, which makes a difference. The form of the microphone also makes a difference. But that's for another video. So dynamic mics are great, and this is kind of trying to oversimplify microphones, but dynamic mics are great for loud sources, loud sound sources. Condenser mics, on the other hand, are better for quieter loud sources because they have way more gain on their own, so they are usually preamplified. They all the time preamplified, so they require a thing called phantom power. Phantom power, it's called phantom because you don't have to plug a power cord into the mic. It's coming through the XLR cable that you connect, and your mic pre or your interface or whatever you're plugging the mic to needs to have the ability of sending power, 48 volts of power, to power the microphone, and then to make it active so it becomes way more reactive to your sound. So it's way more sensitive and usually used in quieter sound sources because it can capture like whispering sounding things. It's way more sensitive, so we can react better. And on condenser mics, we have two kinds, the small diaphragm and the large diaphragm, which means a microphone is a diaphragm, so it's a membrane, like a drum head or like any membrane, like a speaker, but the opposite, like our ears membrane. So what happens is when it's hit by a sound, it molds, so it moves, and it translates into electric power, that movement. A condenser dynamic microphone has like a very hard membrane, so it moves less. You need a lot more power to make it move a lot. Condenser, since it's electrified and amplified, it's way more sensitive. So very small sound movements make it move a lot, so it translates way better. And the difference on microphones, this is transversal to any microphone, being it a condenser, a ribbon, dynamic, whatever. The bigger the membrane, the slower it is, like in nature. So an elephant is definitely slower than a leopard or than a mouse, right? Because it's bigger, it takes more effort for it to move. So a bigger membrane has more trouble to react to fast sounds, to fast transients. So in a condenser universe, if you want to capture all the detail in the transients, so transient is the small hit, so it's what we perceive as percussive. It's not the sustain, it's the attack. So if we have like a hi-hat, for example, and you want to capture all the nuances of the hi-hat, you will need a small diaphragm. Why? Because it's faster. It returns to zero faster than a large diaphragm. We're talking about microseconds, not seconds, it's a fraction of time. But what it happens is that the small diaphragm will sound way faster, way more direct. So if you're miking a ride cymbal, you will hear the wood of the stick hitting the metal, and you will hear that first, to me, very artificial sound. A large diaphragm, since it has trouble coming back to the original position, the diaphragm is moving back when hit by a sound, coming back and moving back. So this movement is slower. It will kind of soften those transients, so it will sound way more natural, like our ears do. You don't hear that attack in real life. So whenever you want a fast transient, you go for a small diaphragm. When you want kind of a more natural sound, you go for a large diaphragm. That's why you see this large diaphragm mics being used in a lot of different scenarios, usually on a vocal. But it's not always the case that a large diaphragm condenser is a great mic for miking vocals. So let me just twist it so you can see the capsule. You can see the capsule here. It's a circle in between. It's hidden by the grill cloth, so it's kind of a circle. You can see it there. This is a good mic. I really love it. But for example, for my vocals, I really love this one, the Sennheiser 441. It's a dynamic microphone, but it sounds killer. And since it's less sensitive, because it's a dynamic microphone, it's great. It has a huge rejection in the back of the mic. So if you point the back towards the sounds you want to reject, you have really great rejection. So for example, when recording vocals on a live situation, this is a killer mic because there's almost no drums coming into the mic. And this is a thing you should think when picking up your mics. The polar pattern is your friend, not a limitation. It's actually a useful thing. For example, the Ray-Ban mics, as this Soundtronics Sigma 2, is a figure of 8, meaning it captures sound from the front and from the back, so from this side and this side, but it rejects sound from the sides, and here the black part of the mic. It's almost absolute rejection. So if I was recording my vocal like this, you would almost not have my vocal on the microphone. So it's great for recording, for example, if you want to record an acoustic guitar and a vocal at the same time, you can put like a dynamic mic, for example, like a 441 or 57 on your vocal, and then you put this mic facing with the black side, so with the side facing your vocal, so it's rejecting completely your vocal, but it's looking down to your acoustic guitar. Great tip. But this is meant to be just like a first approach to what microphones do, because there's a million applications, and this is a lifetime spent on learning how to use microphones. I just want to clarify and make it a little simpler to understand what microphones do. And then there's a great effect that you need to use to your own advantage, which is proximity effect. The closer the microphone is to the source, if it is like this, super close, you will get an enhanced bass response. So that's why a 57 is great for recording, for example, a snare drum really close or a guitar mic really close, because it has some proximity effect, but it's not completely overwhelming that you only have bass. You still have a lot of mid-range and a lot of high frequencies, because it doesn't have naturally a lot of bass. So when you move it closer to your amp, it sounds bassier, but not extremely bassier. But if it's too bassy, for example, I've been recording harmonica here in the studio for a The Power Blues record, and the harmonica was sounding, the blues harp was sounding too bassy. So I was using a 57, so I just backed it off a little, and it was perfect immediately, like this distance from the amp, like 4 of my fingers from the grill cloth, and it was perfectly, no EQ was needed. So think of microphones as ears and move them around. Where they are located, close to your sound source, it will change the sound. Okay, so that's the biggest EQ move you can do. Let me know if you want me to go deeper on this, because I can show you how to mic guitar cabinets, how to mic drums, how to mic acoustic guitars, and how to take advantage and share my tricks with you. Let me know in the comments, and I hope you're liking this vlog, iPhone vlog, how do you call it, like videos. That's it. Well, see you next time. Bye-bye.